Well, hello again, Antioch. Coming to you with another update video to keep you informed of what's going on during the pandemic and the next steps that we're taking. I know that we're now in a season of asking the question, can we regather? And that is the question that we actually are in dialogue about. And I wanted to communicate to you that this week, we are processing through and we are praying through all the aspects of what regathering would look like for our church. And so I want to encourage you to be praying about that. We're going to take time this week to process through that because us regathering as a church in our auditorium on our church campus isn't just a decision to regather. There are so many factors that we have to take into consideration. One of those is the government requirements that state specifically these are the guidelines that you have to abide by. There's also insurance liabilities that if for the worst case scenario, if someone were to contract COVID-19 on our campus, what does that mean for our insurance? Also, now as we go through these very stringent requirements, we're asking the question, how realistic is it for us to gather under these circumstances considering all the factors? So as we as leaders are processing and praying, I want to encourage you to pray with us this week for God to give us wisdom. But also I want you to understand that the approach that we're taking is using the old adage that is to go slow to go smart, and then go smart to go fast. We are at the go slow stage. We are not interested in pulling the trigger so quickly that we don't take into consideration all the factors that will impact and influence our decision to regather. But really important in the middle of this, I want to strongly encourage us to do two things: to seek unity and to be in prayer. One of the things that's true about the church is a community. It is people. The church is not a gathering. And sometimes we get those confused. And so that means that as we walk through this season and we make decisions about what it looks like for us to gather again, we realize that we do this collectively. We don't make individual decisions about either my right to meet or to be a part of a public gathering. We collectively consider the needs of everyone and what that looks like for how we move together forward as a church. So I want to encourage you, would you pray and seek unity this week as we make this decision? And then also I want to underscore, and I've mentioned this in a number of videos, that even though we haven't been able to gather publicly, God is doing amazing things. More people are coming to Christ, more people are being cared for, more impact in our community, surprisingly, while in this pandemic than even during our public gatherings. So there's great things that God's doing. So as we're continuing this season, we'll continue to live stream this week with our midweek on Wednesday and with our 9 and 11 live streams on Sunday. But I wanted to underscore some really important things. We partnered with Children's Hunger Fund, and we've been putting together, and I want to thank you for those who have invested and gotten that shopping list by downloading it off the website and then going to the store and then dropping it off the church. We filled about 25 boxes. That's almost 500 pounds of food that we've collected, and we're going to continue doing that for the weeks ahead. And if you haven't had a chance to do it, or the Lord prompts you through generosity to do it again, we want to continue to do that because we know that when we pack those boxes and we give them to Children's Hunger Fund, they not only care about the physical needs of people for food, but the spiritual needs of getting the gospel into their lives. Also, we are collectively doing Antioch Devos together. This week, we're reading through the book of Galatians. It has been so great to see how we collectively are hearing what God is saying. And you can use the hashtag Antioch Devos on social media to kind of collect all of the things God's saying to us. Also, this Sunday, in between our 9 and 11 services at 10:30, we are actually launching Kids Church, which is a 15-minute segment specifically geared for kids that we want families with kids to tune in for that, so your kids have a point of investment in their lives. And then one final thing, really important. It is so important to value community, and community means that I engage in community, which means being a part of a community group if you're a part of Antioch. If you haven't engaged in a community group, I want to strongly encourage you to do that. Currently, they're meeting in Zoom format, but we are gradually moving towards, the dialogue is in place right now about in-person, socially distanced gatherings that follow within guidelines, but allow us to see each other face to face, which is what so many of us are longing for right now. Understand my heart. This has been a tough season for everyone, but we know that God is at work, and the reality is that we don't need a church building gathering for God to fulfill His purpose, although that is a part of the rhythm of how we do life, and we will get back to that sometime. But I want us to underscore the great things that God is doing in the midst of this and believe in those. But I want you to understand that I am praying. I care deeply for each person who's a part of our church and wanting to make the best decision before the Lord. and for our community of people who is called Antioch, so that when we move forward, again, we're doing what God's called us to do. We're doing it in a way that honors the authority that He's placed over us and also maximizes the safety as well as the benefit of what a gathering is supposed to look like. So continue to pray this week as we process through and make decisions regarding our future together in terms of regathering as a church. God bless you.